we will be focusing upon something related to data navigation. Now, what is data navigation? When I have a data set, I'll try to navigate, that is, travel throughout the data. Now, with respect to navigation, what all new properties we are going to see? Let's understand that. So, let's get started with the same.
So I will just I'll just go on the file tab. In order to use the file or the extensions which I have brought to you all, which we will be working upon in order to make the analysis and changes and certain interpretations with the data, try to solve certain questions and generate certain outcomes for the same. So I have home tab. I'm on home tab and there are several options which are available. I have a file loaded into my system. Now, let's say a client has given me a file, a data file has been provided to me, and I want to make changes on that data, but I definitely don't want to store those changes. That is, I don't want the my values to be changed or the data to be changed, which is shared by the client. But I still want to load that file and see how the interpretations or analysis could be built upon. So let's see how we can do it. So I'll go on open. You can type in a shortcut key into your Excel workbook as Control O, which is there for open. So I'll go on open and there are several options available to me. Let me go on browse. And when I go on browse, you can see a file explorer part is available to me and in my downloads is my file available. So I'll take this file. When you directly open it, when you directly open it or when you download it and double click it, you directly get a file open at your end. So what happens at that particular instance? First, you see this is a file name and this is all Excel files. And if you can see, the option available to us is open. Open means it will open with giving me permissions to make those changes, allow changes or manipulations in the data, where the data could be changed and saved from my end. But there are several other options as well which are available, which we can select in terms of handling data. Now, when certain use cases happen into industry, we do need to open the file with the read only option because read only option will help us to create analysis of the data, but none of the changes which I made would be saved. So I can go in read only option, which will go and allow me only read only changes possible. So let's say I do recreation and I write save and I do control S for saving. It's not allowing me. You cannot save this file because the file is read only. So this file would not be changed. So this means when you open the file with the read only access, the options would not be available in terms of saving. So you have to save a copy of this file and then work upon it accordingly. So let's go on open. I'll go on practice. And so now, as you saw that how I can import data from different extensions or different location and bring into my Excel and then load it or transform it according to the changes or manipulations which are required within the data. Now let's understand if a client has given me a data which is a downloadable Excel file and if I open it, so what are the different options how I can open it, and if a client wants the data not to be changed or the values not to be changed from the source format, how I can do it. So when I go on file, I can directly go on file tab and click on open, or else you can just type in a shortcut key known as Control O, which will help us to reach at the same location. So when I do on Control O, I can go on the browse and then when I go on browse, I'll select the file which is downloaded at my end. So after going over here, you can see all Excel files and the option which is available to us is open. Now, what is the meaning of open? That when I open this file directly with this option, it is allowing me to make those changes. Now, what kind of changes? If I'm deleting a column, that would be possible. I'm inserting a column, that would be possible. If I am removing a column, that would be possible to be saved. Which means if I do all those manipulations and do Control S, those values or those changes will be traced within my data. But the client said that I want my data to be as it is. I don't want any changes to be made, but still help me to make those changes which are there. So what I can do is I can go on open, browse, and then when I take this data, in this open, instead of going in open, you can go to open read only. So what does happen when you go on open read only? It will just allow you the read only operations. Now what are read only operations? You can insert a column, you can delete a value, you can change the values that are there. But when you try to save it into your systems or into your file on which you are working on, that will not allow you to save, because it will give you an option. Do you want to save it as a copy? Because the existing data will remain at its position. So that is one of the way which we can see. But apart from that, we do have certain different options which are available. That is, let's say we can open into read only or open as copy as well, or open as protected. So when you open as protected view, then no changes, no value updations, or no seeing of formulas or values would be available to us. So if I want to open with certain restrictions which are there, I can choose those options. Or if I want no restrictions to be there into files, the manipulations could be easily done and saved within the file on which I'm working upon, I can directly go and open with open. So that's a by default option which is available to us. So let's go with open because this is what I wanted. So if you can see, there are multiple sheets which are available to me at my end, which will be helpful for us in terms of doing different tasks with respect to data. So let's see and work upon these sheets accordingly. So let me add a new sheet over here. So the shortcut is Shift and F11. Instead of F11, you can also go in the cells wala group and go into the insert, and then there is insert a new sheet. That option is also available to us, which we can add in, or we can use a shortcut key which is there, that is Shift and F11. If F11 is not working directly, as I mentioned that you can use the function keys available into your laptops. So Shift, Fn and F11. So you can see a new sheet has been added. You can move your sheet into different locations. If you can see, if you want to move it over here, want to move it over here, you can move it. The sheets would be moved accordingly. So when I go on the sheet 1, which I have added, let us understand certain basic navigations. So let me name this sheet. So I'll double click and I'll write data navigation. Now, what is the meaning of data navigation? Data navigation means navigating through cells, navigating through data, where the cells will select certain regions, select certain values, and do certain operations in the outcome. Now, how we can do it? Imagine that I have one written over here, and I want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, those kinds of series to be printed below. So what I can do is I can go over here and select the cell. Now if you can see in a cell, we are in cell B2, name box is telling me, formula bar is telling me that the value which is associated with the cell is 1. Now, when I go over here, you can see as I go between the cells into the space of cells, the cursor which I'm using is very similar to a first aid symbol. When I go just at the bottom, the cursor is changing, which is related to a plus icon with certain arrows. And then there is a small box at the end of the cell. When I take my cursor over here, it's a plus symbol, which is there. So what does that mean? All of them have some different use cases. Let's say I just want to select certain cells. So I can click on the cell and keep my cursor on the middle, and just with mouse I will drag the values. Now when I select certain regions, this cursor is helpful for me. So a first aid symbol like cursor will help me to select certain regions or certain cells within my workbook or worksheet. So you can see I'm selecting certain cells, but no values are being repeated, no series are being created, nothing is there. This cell or this section of cursor is only helping us to select certain regions. That is cursor number one, that it is helping us to select. Now, if I want this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to be repeated, so how should I do it? I take my cursor from a first aid symbol, going to a small box at the end of the cell, and I'll just drag it off. So when I drag it, you can see a number which is being followed when I'm going one cell below. So what it is doing me that this value or the cell information is being dragged below. So when I use this cursor, the information within the cells, the values within the cells, or the formulas, if possible, there into the cells would be dragged below. So if I leave my cursor, you can see when I've dragged, it has repeated 1, 1, 1, 1, 1 for me. But what do I want? I wanted this into series that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on. So if you can see when I have dragged, there is a small icon or small section available to me. And this is known as autofill options. Now, what are these autofill options? It is helping me to automatically fill the data. Now I go over here and you can see what is selected. It's selected as copy cells, which means the cells are being copied. I don't want the cells to be copied. I want the values to be repeated into a serial format. So I'll go on fill series and you can see the values are changing into a series format. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on. So here a small autofill option would be available to us when we use that cursor or plus icon, which is used to drag values, drag formulas, or drag contents which are available into the cells to the selected region. So if you can see, this has been stored over here with respect to this, and it's not only possible column wise, but it is also possible row wise. Let's say if I keep my cursor and take it along the row, and you can see row wise these changes have happened, and this autofill option is also available to me. So you can see I can do a fill series option available over here. I can select it and drag it accordingly. So series has been changed. Now, but if I don't want the series option to be used, but still this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 values to be printed over here. So I'll write 1, I will write 2 over here, and you can see there is cell 1 which is written 1, and then there is cell 2 which has mentioned 2. First, though, I will select this cell with the cursor number 1, which we understood. That's the first aid symbol cursor, which is used to select the cells. Then, after that, what are we going to do? If you see the cursor which was helping for us in terms of dragging the values. Now, when I drag these values after selecting certain cells or set of cells, what it does, it understands the pattern which is being followed. As shown, or if I show you over here, when I drag it, you can see a small box is associated over here which says 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So this small box, also a series of changes are observed over here. How those changes are possible, because I didn't do any autofill options or anything, but this still this series are possible to me is just because of when I selected these two regions and then I dragged it. So when I selected it understood the pattern which is being followed, and the same pattern was being copied below. So if I want to remove all the elements which are there into the selected cells, what I can do is select all and never press backspace. Because many people do this mistake that they select and press backspace. So when you do backspace, only the first cell information would be gone. Rest of the cells value still remains same. If I show you over here with an example, if you can see, so when I press backspace, only the first cell data is gone, or the value is gone, or content is gone. But I don't see other cells, contents gone, or they're still persisting over here. So what I can do in order to remove all of them, that is, I'll first select certain regions and then I'll click on delete button. So delete button onto your laptops that needs to be pressed in order to remove all the contents from the selected cells or selected regions within to your Excel sheet. So here if you can see I have removed all the contents which are available. Now if I type in again, let's say 1, and I write a pattern that after 1 there is 4. So what do you understand over here? That after 1, after skipping 3 elements, the 4 has been calculated. So if I want to copy the same pattern below, that after 4, 3 elements to be skipped and the next value to be there. So how I can do it? I can select the cells in order to understand the pattern and then drag the pattern below. So you can see over here that the same pattern is being followed, like after 4, 5, 6, 7. That is the third skip. Then 10, then 13, then 16, then 19, then 22, and then proceeding with 25. And if you see the autofill options now, what it is going to show you, fill series. Because first it has understood the patterns and that same pattern is serially changed and copied down below. So this is what we do. And similarly, I can do for what rows. So I write 2. So here I selected and this would be dragged on this side. So if you can see, it's not about I can do changes only with respect to columns. I can do changes with respect to rows as well. Because it's a 2D grid data, the changes would be possible with rows as well as for columns for us. So this is just a basic drag and drop which we understood over here. So if I want to drag, let's say Monday, I have written Monday over here and I want to drag it below. So you can see there is a small box, text box associated that what value it is showing. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, then again Monday, Tuesday. So if you can see, let's say Monday. And here when I go for text related operation, it's what? It's a series which is shown. So if you write January, let's say if I write January, and when I do those changes, you can see the month numbers or the month names are being shown over here. Now, if I write E101 and I try to do this, you can see the pattern. E102, E103, E104, 5, 6, 7, 8, and so on is being copied. So this is how series of values would be helpful for us in terms of using it for our data analysis operation. If I want to create this kind of values, this is how I can create it. So it's not about just dragging, dropping. I can also use certain options available to us in terms of doing this. So if you see, there is an editing group available at our ribbon in the home tab, which will help us to do those operations. Let's say in this selected cell, I will write 11. And from 11 to 20 is a value which I want to generate, like 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and so on. So what I will do is I'll go on the editing option or editing group available into my home tab. When I go on this group, there is a summation, alt equals to, then there is fill option, and then you can see there is a clear option available. I'll go in something called as fill. So when I go on fill, you can see fill down, fill right, fill left, fill up, which is available. Now there is an option of fill series. Let me select fill series option. Now how do I want this series of values to be changed? Do I want it to be changed row wise or do I want it to be changed column wise? So let's say I want it to be changed column wise. So step value. What is a step value? Step value means skip value. After 11, what it should follow? 12. So the next step after 11 is 12. So step 1. If I write step 2, so it will do 2 steps, that is 11, 12, and 13. So 13 will be given. So because the second step after 11 is what? 13. So let me try it out over here and showcase to you all that what is the stop value which I want to stop at? 20. So 11, 12 would be skip. because 12 is the first step, 13 is the second step. So 13 would be considered. After 13, what is the second step? 15. After 15, there is 17, and after 17, there is 19. So when I do OK over here, you can see 13, 11, 13, 15, 17, and 19 as a cell or a values or a series being printed over here. I can go over here again and go into series and make those changes possible. If I write step as 1 and stop value as 20, and I do columns because I want to make those changes column wise. If I want to make those changes row wise, I will keep it at rows. And I do okay, you can see 1, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. So there are series of options which are being printed over here. So this is what how we can select or track certain values with respect to series, or how series of values would be generated and created into my Excel. So I hope this is clear. After the series operation, we are definitely going to understand that how do we navigate into cells or different tabs which are available to us. So if I select my cell over here, I have this first aid icon, which I know that if I drag it with respect to mouse, what it is going to do, till the region where I have selected it, it is going to select certain cells. But no changes are made in the cells, just a certain region is being selected. What if I want to do this operation with the help of my keyboard? So what kind of keys will help me to do this? So we have a shortcut key known as control and arrows. Now arrows keys are very powerful into Excel because arrows keys help us to navigate to the cells or different sections or set of cells or ranges of cells very easily. So I take control and I'll take right. If I take control and right arrow key, you can see from here it is jumping to the end because there is a blank which is coming over here. So here if you can see from control, I take an arrow key and it is jumping to the end. So from here till here the data is filled. But I want to select this region. So what I will do is I write shift and right arrow key. So shift and right arrow key, what it is going to do, it is going to select one cell particularly. So here when I do shift and right arrow key, one cell towards the right is being selected. Shift and left arrow key, one cell towards the left is being selected. So this is how I can navigate within the cell, select those cells with the help of my keys. Now, if I want to go downwards within the cells, that is column wise shift, I want to have. So shift and the down arrow key would be useful for us in terms of having that downwards selections. Now, up arrow key will help me to select the upward region, but let's say this is what I've selected with a shift and a down arrow key. Now, I don't want to select one cell at a time. I want to select the entire region over here. This entire thing which I'm doing from mouse needs to be accessed with the help of my keys. So how will I do it? I have a shortcut key known as Control Shift and down arrow key. If I press this, so till the cells are being filled, this value has been selected. This range of cells has been selected. So we have used Control Shift and down arrow key. Imagine that this cell was empty. This cell was empty. And when I click my cell over here and use Control Shift and down arrow key, you can see it has selected only till the cells are being filled. The blank part is still available over here and that is not being selected. So what I can do to select that blank region and the rest of the cells after blank? That is long press Control Shift again and down arrow key and down arrow key. When I click on it again after the selected cells are done, when I click on it again, it is going to the end of the sheet for me. If I want to come back, then up arrow key or upwards arrow key would be helpful for us. So this is a selected regions which I have done with the help of my keys. Similarly, I can do for control shift and right arrow key to select the certain set of cells. So non-empty values would be selected. All the cells are what filled. So that kind of cells are being selected towards the right. And then when I do down arrow key with control and shift, it will select towards the downward side. So you can see there is being blank. So it has stopped. So this is how I can navigate with the help of my control shift and the arrow keys which are available to us. So here we understood that how we can navigate with the help of control shift and the arrow keys which are available in terms of selecting certain cells or set of cells into my Excel sheet. Now proceeding further, let's understand that how I can navigate to my different tabs with the help of keys which are available to me. So for the same, what I can do is I'll keep my cursor over here anywhere within the sheet, it's fine, and I'll click on Alt. Now when I click on Alt key, you can see there are several options which are available. There are several numbers which are available to each tab or each options or each control. Let's say I want to go in Home tab. So I'll click on H, and when I go on H, the home tab, each control of that ribbon is named with certain alphabets or numbers. Now let's say I want to highlight, so I'll click on H. Now, see over here that I'm using entirely my keyboard, that I'm not using anything or my mouse is not being used over here. So, with the help of keys, how I can access or control my tabs which are available. So, that's what we are seeing over here. So, if you can see, I have went into H, and in H, I want certain colors to be selected. So, I'm using arrow keys which are available. So here, let's say I use an arrow key, and with the arrow key, I have selected this color, and I'll do enter. So I've done this enter. Once you click enter, this is gone. The tabs, the navigations which were available to different tabs or the controls are being gone from here. So here you can see I've highlighted this cell with the help of this tabs but without using my mouse, because what we do is I want to highlight this part, I'll go over here with respect to mouse and then I'll select it. But how my keys can help me to do lots of operations in terms of going or accessing to different tabs, that we have seen. You just have to click what? Alt. So your alt may, let's say I want to go in home, and in home I want to go into, let's say, FG. So when I go in FG, the size is again changed. So now I'll go in Alt H FG. So when I do, if you can see, the size is being increasing. So Alt H and FG together, you can see the size has been again increasing. When I go in Alt, I'll go in H, and let's have border for the same. So I'll go in B. So here, if you can see in B, there are lots of sections which are available. Let me give a thick border for this. So I have T, which is allocated to the same. So here, if you can see, I have increased the font size over here, as well as I have also given the border, but nowhere I've used my mouse over here. Everything is accessed with the help of keyboards, just with the help of Alt and the different sections or navigations available to each tab and each ribbon control. So this is how I can navigate within the cells as well as within my tabs with the help of keyboards. Now, if I want to select entire column from the sheet, I'll just press Control and Space. You can see an entire column is being selected. Anywhere within that column, I'll keep my cell. Let's say anywhere within that column, I've kept my cell and I want to select this entire column. So I'll write control and space in order to select this entire column. If not, with the help of shortcut keys, you just can go over here and click on the same. So the entire column is being selected. Now, if I want to select the entire row, we have shift and space. So for selecting an entire row, we use shift and space. For selecting entire column, we have control and space. So this is how we can navigate within the cells which are there available to us. Now let's understand ABCD of the shortcuts associated with the control key. Now how that would be possible is, first I can start with A to Z and just click control with the same. So let us start. So when I say control A, if you can see, when I keep my cursor within the data where the values are available and I do control A, the cells are being selected where the data values are present. So only a region has been selected or the values are selected only till then where the data value is available. If you can see, but let me take my cursor somewhere outside where there are no data values as such. There are blanks associated a lot. And then I do control A. You can see an entire sheet being selected over here. So when I keep my cell into a region where there are lots of values associated surroundingly, so control A will select that region where the cells have values. But when I keep my cell where there is blank associated, you do control A, you can see that the entire sheet is being selected. So control A as a shortcut is used to select all, either entire table, either entire set of ranges, or either entire sheet. So that was control A. Let me keep my cursor and do control B. As everyone know, the very common shortcut is control B, which is used to do bold. So the cell, the content within the cell will be in bold format. So that is control B. Now, if I go over here, if I go over here and I want to use the next shortcut which we have, which is control C. So when I do control C, you can see certain dancing lines surrounding the cell. So what does that mean? That this cell is being copied. Control C is a shortcut of what? Copy. So this cell is being copied. So whenever there are dancing in surrounding the cells, you mean that this cell is being copied. So when I do control C, copy is being working. So control C is for copy. And then when I do control D, many people say that control D is for delete, but no, control D is to copy the value downwards. Now what does that means? When I select a cell and I do control D, you can see 8 which was above has been copied downwards. So the value of the above cell, the format of the above cell or the formula of the above cell would be copied in the downward cell. That is the meaning of control D. If I say that I'll select this region and I do control D, what it is going to do? The value which is there in the first cell, that is 9, that is being copied into the downward cells. So control D, if you can see, downward cells are being copied with the value of the initial cell. So copy downwards, the shortcut is control D. Now it will copy values, it will copy format, as well as it will copy the formulas which you have. So control D, and then we have control E. Now control E is for flash fill, means filling the data within a flash or within a seconds. Now how does a flash fill works? We'll understand it more detailedly with the help of data, which will be proceeding further and which we will be solving off. So control E, just remember that control E is used to flash fill. If you see that when I did control E, the remaining cells were filled with what? With 9, because they understood that all the other cells were filled with 9. So the same pattern need to be copied and filled the data with. So that has been filled over here. So control E is for flash fill. Then I have EK bar F. So control F, as you know that I want to find certain elements. Let's say find what? I've written Tuesday over here. And there are options like find next and find all. If you do find all, where is this Tuesday as a value available, that cell position would be given to me. If there are multiple values, so multiple cell positions would be given to me over here. So which book, which sheet, and what is the cell name, and what is the value associated with it, that is being followed. Here it has mentioned that one cell found. So with this criteria, with this condition, when I'm finding the cells within my data, only one cell has been found. So control F is used to find. F के बाद we have G. So G will help me to go to a certain cells. Now let's say if I say I want to go to G5. Where is G5? G5 is here. So when I reference that I want to go to G5 cell, it will take the cell automatically to the G5 or the reference where I want it to be. If I say that I'll select certain regions and I want to take my cells towards the blank cells. So what I'll do Control G and you can go in specials. You can see there are options available to us. Let me take it to blank and to OK. And you can see in the selected cells, the cell has went to which cells? The blank cells, which are available at our end. So Control G as an option is known as go to. Go to a particular cell which I have asked to, or go to a cells with certain special options, such as we saw over here is blank. So Control G, then we have Control H. Control H is if I'm finding certain value, do I want to replace it with certain value as such? So if you see find what Tuesday, and if I want to replace it with the short form of Tuesday. If I do this, there are different options. Replace all. So all the cells where this find is possibly available will be replaced. If I do just replace, so only at one location this will happen. Find all. So this is just for the find option. If I remove this Tuesday and if I do find all, so it will just find where this value is being found. Find next, it will try to find if somewhere else this value is found in the cell. But I want to replace, so you can see I do. So replace all if I do, so all the position where this value is found would be replaced. If I just do replace, so this value would change. So let's say if I do replace. So you can see the value has been replaced over here from Tuesday to the short form of Tuesday. So this is how I have used Control H. And H के बाद we have Control I. What does I is used for? I is used for changing the text into its italic format. As you know, that Control I is used to change the text into its italic format. So here if you can see, if I do Control I, the text will be converted into its italic format. So I के बाद we have J. As it's not mandatory that all alphabets will be associated with certain shortcut keys. So Control J is something which does not have any shortcut associated with the same. So Control J के बाद we have Control K, which is used to add a hyperlink. Now what's a hyperlink? When I go to any cell and it should take to any website or any location or any file or any existing web page which is there. So then I can go and add a hyperlink over here. Let's say if I add an address and if I go over here and I say www.youtube.com, if I go and select this and I copy this part and I take it over here and see I've pasted it and okay, you can see this cell is having a link. When I click on it, it is definitely going to land on that page or the link which I have provided. So this is called as I've added a hyperlink over here. So with Control K, I can add a hyperlink. and it can take my cell and it can associate a cell to browse at any particular point. It can go to certain websites or certain links or certain mails, or it can also go to your explorer, file explorer. So control K is used to add hyperlink, and then we have control L, sorry. So in control L, what do we do? When I do control L, it is selecting all the cells and converting it into Excel ka table format. Now, what is an Excel table format? There is a different format of table which Excel considers. So if I do, my table has headers. Headers means first column is a header, but the first column is not a header. I can unselect it, and these are the cells which are being selected, and you can do okay. When you do okay, you can see the first column was not my heading or the column name. So there is column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4, column 5, and so on added over here. But if I go outside this cell, you can see this design tab of table is gone. When I go into the cell where the table was incorporated, the design tab is on. When I go outside, the design tab is off. What does that mean? That this cell is into Excel ka table format. So the table related operations which are given to us by the Excel would be available only when I go within the table. It will not be available when I go outside the table. If you can see, there are table design options which are available. If you want to resize the table, if you want to change the name of the table, generate a pivot table, add a slicer, export this data, convert to a normal range, means bring back to normal value, which was there earlier. So all these options would be available to us in the table design when you incorporate Excel table format into the range of cells. That is done with Control L. But remember, Control L and Control T works the same, which means when I do Control T, now it's in table already. So when I do Control T, you can see the same option available to us, which was associated with Control L. So Control L and Control T follows the same shortcut. Now after L, we have Control M. Now, as J was not associated with any alphabet, so M is also not associated with any of the shortcut key which is there. So no shortcut key would be associated with M. Then we have Control N, and as everyone knew that Control N is to generate new workbook for me. So I have clicked Control N, and you could see that a new workbook has been generated at my end. Now, after doing Control N, then O, if you see, we have seen Control O is nothing but open. It is used to open or browse to certain links or certain sites which are available, or explore certain sections, or go to the open and get the data from the file explorer which we want. So Control O is for open, and OK bad. P is used to print. You can see print option is available to us, and there are no borders available because the lines which are available to us, they are nothing but grids. They are faint dots. They are not actual borders. We give them borders, then only the borders would be possibly seen in terms of print. So Control P is used to do print. Many people have this mistake or do this mistake that Control P is nothing but paste. But it is not paste. It is used to print. So Control Print is used to print the data, which is there. Control P. Then I do Control Q. You can see for certain of the Excel users, you can see a formatting option available. A conditional formatting, charts, totals, sparklines, tables would be available. For certain of the Excel system, this shortcut key is still not associated with anything. So Control M, as you see, sorry, Control Q, as you see, that it will have this sections associated which are related to formattings or inserting charts, totals, tables, and so on. So if you want to do this operations, these are short these are available to us with the shortcut key as Control Q. So after Control Q, we have Control R. What it is doing, it is reading the value towards right hand side. When we studied Control D, what was Control D doing? Upward values was copied downwards. So Control R is also copying the right hand side, the left hand side value to the right hand side. So Control R is copying the left hand side value to right hand side when I want to copy those elements towards the right hand side. So Control R is useful for us in terms of doing that. So R, after R we have Control S, and Control S is used to do saving of the file. So Control S is for save. Already I have given the name, so it has not asked me to save or choose a location. When you save it for the very first time, it will ask you Control save. Control save where? So you can browse at certain location, give a new file name or change the extensions which you want to. So Control S is used to save. Now Control T, as I said, that T and L work the same. So Control T and L are both are helpful for us in terms of inserting the Excel table format. Then after that we have Control U. What is Control U? Control U is used to do underline of the data. Now what is the meaning of underline? That when I have incorporated certain text, but I want to underline them and add an underline operation, I can do with Control U. So after U we have V. What does V do is what is being copied, it would be pasted. So what I had copied initially and what's there on my clipboard may there is a link which was copied. So when I do Control V, it has pasted that. So Control C is for copy and Control V is for paste. Then we have Control W. Now what does Control W does? Control W is ask us very politely that do you want to close this file or do you want to save this file? So if you do save, then it will close it off. So I don't do save, but if you do save, this file would be entirely closed. Well, cancel it off so it is not closing it as such. So Control W, then we have Control X. What it is doing, it is cutting the data. It is cut. And when I do Control V, it's pasted. So it is cutting from here and moving over here. So cut paste. Control X is cut and Control V is paste. After X, we have Y. So Y is used to do what? Redo. Redo is when you do certain task, undo. Let's say I have did Control Z, which is used for undo, like most of you must be knowing. That undo operations are done. So when I do undo, that undo is not required. I want to redo the operation. So I have Control Y in terms of redoing the operations again. So Control Z is for undo and Control Y is for redo. So these are certain shortcuts which are associated with alphabetical order, that is A to Z, with the help of my Control key, which we can use and utilize in terms of navigating within the cells or implement certain operations with respect to my cells to do certain tasks with respect to data. So with this, we understood that how different shortcuts would be associated with my alphabetical order, that is A to Z, and I can navigate within my sheets with the help of control or certain different other shortcuts which will help me to select certain regions as well as navigate within the tabs which are available with the help of Alt.
Like this video, subscribe to our channel and comment on the concept you want to learn next.